Actually, I'm a computer scientist, a PhD from ISC and all that stuff. So I have been in research leadership positions for a while now. I used to be at Hewlett Packard for 17 years and Xerox for 4 years plus, and have led many projects in healthcare and other domains using AI. In fact, I was a lab director for Xerox research before I started Niramai. So during this time, we were interacting with many doctors for other problems. And one of my cousin sisters got detected with breast cancer. And it was very shocking. She was my very close friend as well as family member. And so I said, okay, can we do something about this, right, as a technologist? So started reading about the problems in breast cancer detection today. And then I said, okay, probably there is a scope for it, because I found that there is absolutely no solution to detect breast cancer in women under 45 years of age. And there were more and more cases coming in that age group. So with that in mind, read up about multiple different ways of sensing this breast cancer and figured out that there is a thermal sensing mechanism that we use. And I was very fascinated by that, and then said, okay, what's stopping thermal sensing to come to those, help people, right, to come to the market and help people? And we saw that the main problem is the accuracy of detection, right? Thermal sensing is a very nice way of detecting early abnormalities in the breast or any other part of the body, in fact. However, there are several reasons why something will be hot, right? And it's not just for cancer. So how do we look for cancer and not look for just spurious things, right? The false positives have to be reduced. So that's when I thought, okay, why not combine machine learning, computer vision techniques for this purpose? And so started a small project with management support as an exploratory project. I used to spend my nights and weekends on it, in addition to the 25 other projects that I was leading. And so after about 1.5 years of research, some early positive results, and I thought, I need to spend the rest of my life on this, so I quit Xerox and essentially my previous organization, and started Niramai along with my colleague and friend Niramai, who's as well, and two very bright technical members of the team, Himanshu, Madhu, and Shiva Teja. So the four of us started with one person, Tara. So we were like just 5 of us. We managed to get a small place in Tata Elxsi. They were actually incubating us. They wanted to incubate. So it was just fun. It was fun time, I would say. It was January 2017. 1st Jan 2017 is when we all came out of the previous organizations and right on the road to try and see what we can do to help women detect breast cancer early. Being a leader itself is a challenging thing, because you have to think ahead and sort of think innovatively, and also make sure that you can multitask, do multiple things. It's very, very interesting, but challenging as well. And also as an entrepreneur, there are a huge number of tasks that you need to solve, right? So that adds to the beautiful challenges that life throws at you. I think one of the things that matter a lot is one is self-belief, and confidence of being able to face challenges, right? Not getting perturbed about every small things that crop up. I mean, life is full of problems, and otherwise there's no fun, right? You can't eat sweet forever, right? You can't eat I love Mysore pak, so you can't eat Mysore pak like 100 of it. Then you don't feel the taste, right? Unless there is some spicy stuff in between. Same way, there will always be problems. There will always. So how do we sort of, not getting perturbed by that and sort of moving on, and thinking calmly and saying, okay, breaking down the problem into smaller solvable problems, and then say, okay, is there a solution for this? What's the worst, the naive sort of base solution that can I optimize on the solution? So if you look at it at a task level, right, and then try and say, okay, or problem level, and then try and solve each of the minor problems that is forming the bigger problem. Look at different options and so on. So this basically gives you confidence that you can actually solve those problems. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that as long as, you believe in light beyond the tunnel, right? And you can always face very, very huge issues that you may feel. As a leader, another important thing is the appreciation for the team, right? Leader, there's no leader, there's no follower, right? So obviously your team needs to really feel the need, so the other aspect is to basically to say, appreciate all the good stuff that your team is doing, right? Because of what the team is delivering, the group is able to deliver, right? So being appreciative of what they're doing, and also being very crisp and clear about giving any feedback when there is non-performance, but not, giving a personal feedback, but giving work-related feedback. That also is a, I think maybe women are good in that skill in terms of, talking through that, especially when you have a lot of male team members, right? There's a lot of possibilities of ego issues that come up. And so you need to be very diligent and careful about how you deliver the feedback as well, etc. Yeah, so definitely, there have been many people who have made a difference, and guided me at different points in my career. I can't name one person because there are so many people who have helped me throughout my career. What I believe is that, you can learn something from everyone, generally, right? Because life is so complex. You can't be an expert in all fields and everything, everything around the work that you're doing, especially again, as an entrepreneur, there's so many things and so many new things you need to learn. So the way I look at it is, so if there is a problem, let's say I need to figure out how to, do my ESOPs for my team, then I know whom to go to. If I have to, have some questions on the clinical aspect, then I know whom to go. So different aspects of the problems you will face, you can identify a person who would basically can be a mentor. I'm not saying you should have like tens and thousands of mentors, but maybe top 3-4 people whom you're comfortable going. And it's very important that the mentor listens to you, and then many times the solution is within you as well. It's just sort of talking through. It's like a bouncing board, and they will help ask the right questions and bring out the answer that's within you as well. So that's what happens. So it's important that the person you're choosing as a mentor is non-judgmental, right? It's because it's a free flow of thought and so on is very, very important in that. But yeah, I have benefited a lot with both formal mentorship and informal mentorship that we're getting almost like every day. There was actually a major transformation during my, studies, essentially. I think it's really about being confident in what you're knowing. That I think is very important. So it's not like an advert. If somebody tells you that what you know well, right? If that is the case, there's no need to be worried about. You can be confident about it, right? So essentially what happened was, I think it was my bachelor's, and like I loved computer science, and I used to do, education was learning for me. Literally, I was studying the books because I loved reading about those concepts and so on, not really to get marks or whatever. Having said that, I turned out to be the topper for the state and for all branches as well. And then suddenly I said, okay, maybe there's something, right? That I need to be confident about, right? It's not easy. I didn't do anything to do that. I just studied and I just learned what I wanted. So I don't know why, but that external validation was what what made me more confident about what I'm doing. Then I got into IASC and so on. So it's been fun throughout. But then after that, I was actually more confident talking about my ideas outside in groups and so on and so forth. And so I would give an advice to everybody saying that, okay, if you think there is an idea and many times you think it's a stupid idea, I'm not going to say it's possible that's stupid. but it's very much possible it is not, and nobody else in the room has got that idea. So feel free to speak up. It's okay if somebody laughs at you or whatever. So it's very important, especially for women, women or girls to do this, because it's usually the case that there's a room full of male and you enter and you're the odd woman out, and you generally tend not to speak out, right? Because that's a safe zone. You don't really need to speak. But then I think that's not good, because the world is not going to benefit from the ideas. So that's how you have to think beyond yourself, right? I would say, right? Think about a goal, think about a vision, right? Think about somewhere that possibly will help the world or whatever, some bigger goal than yourself. Then the goal becomes the main thing, and all your ego or the self doubt, everything goes away, because you're doing it for the good of something. Then you get all the courage and so on. So some of these things I learned along the way, and I guess I hope kids around the girls. Actually now I see girls more confident, and I feel very happy about it. But yeah, I think people should talk about these kinds of things. So I don't think women should aspire for an entrepreneurship. They should aspire to do different things, new things, and change the world, right? Because or try to change the world, literally. So that's the piece which I think girls, boys, coming out of college should be encouraged to do. And one main thing is fear of failure, right? It's okay to fail, right? I guess it's in India, it is still not fully okay to fail, but I wish, the parents and, friends and teachers tell them it's actually okay to fail. I mean, if you think you want to do something and you believe that there can be somebody will benefit from this, it could be the end consumer, or it doesn't have to be social thing, then it's okay to try. And after all, you may lose 3 months, you may lose 1 year. That's okay. What's 1 year in life of, let's say, 80 years, right? So it's not. So it's better to try it out than think that, oh, I should have done this, right, later. So that's what I would say. So basically, being okay to failure is something that I think we should encourage people. And also performance management and all of this is based on what have you achieved, right? And what's the final tick mark. But then if there is some way of figuring out how to actually also kind of measure the path, the effort, the trials that the person has done, it would be ideal, especially in colleges or in any other forum, even in offices, corporates. To be an innovator, if I can call myself that, I think first and foremost is love for doing new things, right? You're not doing something, or you're not solving a problem because you'll get a prize or you'll get some money, or like somebody will say yes. It's just a sheer solution which excites you, right? I mean, you solve a problem, the problem is tough, problem is tougher, the excitement is more, that way. So the more challenging a problem, you should enjoy that more, right? Because that maybe it's an ego or whatever, but basically that element I think is very, very nice, because you're not, again, doing it for anything else, you're just doing for fun. Innovation is fun, right? So that's one piece. Of course, thinking on the foot, leaving aside all baggage of, oh, I had done this, so it should work now. No. Here's the problem. How do I solve this problem? As if I haven't done anything before. So that also helps you think newly, innovatively, think about new problems, And thirdly, somebody says it doesn't work. Don't believe that. It's okay. If you believe it works, you'll figure out how to make it work. So that's how I would say, right? So these are basically that, the skills and all that you can get, you can learn, or you can always partner. It's really about how to make an idea work, right? And their persistence and passion towards solving that, obviously, becomes very, very critical. don't blame others. That's what I always say, right? Because you cannot change the world. What you can possibly do is change yourself, right? And change what you want to do, how you want to present. So there's no use. So it's not a solution to blame the world. Sorry. So that's always been my from the beginning, right? If there's something wrong, I'll see what should I have done differently to not make, to solve the problem or to prevent this problem. So if you think of it that way, then you are under control. Others are not under control. So you go present it to an investor, they will say no. You can ask them, see, you don't have to, all investors are actually very nice. They want, they are in this sort of ecosystem because they want to help startups come up. So they're actually having very good intent. People think they're only there for making money. That's not the case. They can make money on something else, right? So if they're supporting a startup ecosystem, there is a reason why they're there and they want to help you. So now, if an investor has rejected your idea, so what you could do is basically talk to them and say, okay, what was not good? What was not good? Be very objective. Don't say, oh, I'm a lady, that's why there is. No, may not be true at all, right? So it's about going back confidently and saying, okay, I feel this is good. Probably I was not able to communicate, or maybe there is really a gap in this. What is the gap that you have found that I need to work on? So if you go from the perspective of, I want to improve. I want to improve for my company. I want to improve personally or fix something. So they may say, okay, the business model is not okay. I'm just coming up with something, right? Then, okay, you try to sort of, if you have mentor, fine. If you have ways of reaching out to other entrepreneurs to figure out. So you can talk and then fix that and then go back to the same investor or some other investor. So basically, if you look at it like, I can do this. I just have to figure out what are the problems, what are the sort of gaps, and I want to fill it. If you go with that approach, I think, it is still possible. I maybe that's the optimism in an entrepreneur, and that's, if you ask, that's one main trait. Passion and optimism is definitely the two key things that's required for an entrepreneur. And so with that, I think we have a fair bit of chance of moving forward. And because I have always found that if you're willing to learn, if you throw your ego aside rather, people are willing to help. So I'm very, very thankful to the startup ecosystem in India, who has made a huge difference. Niramai, where it is right now. We have a long way to go, but so far so good. There are a few networks, women-only network that I have been part of as well. But honestly, I think people who have completed or actually successfully created a startup and they have more time on their hands, right? They are probably more able to or can help, and that's not happening. Essentially, like MDs of very, very big organizations, I won't name. Probably having a half an hour call with them is probably more helpful. For example, I'm so thankful. Geetha Manjunath ma'am is my mentor, as in like advisor. So once in 3 months or something, I ask for an hour's time and then go meet her and talk about it. It's not like she will say this particular solution and I go and do that, right? It's really the dialogue, presenting what you've done, and then getting the perspective on it. Whether you act on all of it or not, that's a different thing. Getting the perspective on it is useful, right? So these kinds of activities are happening, right? I think you just have to reach out and be conscious about their time, and people can reach out. And many people have called me also, and I've had many dialogues on that, both male and female entrepreneurs. So happy to do that. Obviously, you should be conscious about the time constraints that an entrepreneur herself or himself would have. And so as long as you're aware of that, I think it's not a problem. As well as there are networks, you will have to find the network. You have to create that network by going into these sort of social gatherings. Like there are several, let's say Startup India or Startup Karnataka, NASCOM, all of them actually sort of do these startup founder meetups, right? I would encourage people to go to those meetups, meet your fellow team members, fellow entrepreneurs. One, it will give you that you're not alone, and you get the feeling that you're not alone. You know, there are several people, and then you can actually exchange notes, exchange phone numbers, and then make a network yourself. Obviously, now COVID time, there's a little less of that, but you could go into all of these webinars and so on, right? You know, many times I found that when I attend a talk, right, typically if you ask some good questions, the speaker becomes your friend, becomes your mentor. You know, I mean, they're looking to help. You know, that's why there's giving a talk. So these kinds of sort of ways of actually networking will help. It is difficult. It is difficult as a women entrepreneur to go into a full room full of, or a conference room full of like thousands of male. They're all sort of flocking together, and you have to say, just give me some space. I need to go in, and it is difficult. Especially I was a very, very shy kind of a person from the beginning. So it's very difficult, if you're not into your going. But then now again, I say, okay, Niramai, so for that, I need to do this. So I break my own shyness and then go in and say, okay, hi, So that's something I think people can practice, girls can practice.